بسم اللہ
جی شروع کریں مولانا صاحب.
جی بسم اللہ.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So today too, we have got two students from Abraar Madrasa. Both are from level 3 and they are eager to contribute to this majlis. And Taha will recite Surah Al-Baqarah, few ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah inshallah, followed by Sabrina, and she will recite Dua al-Ahad. Taha, if you're ready, please.
Yes. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل عليك وما أنزل من قبلك بالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربه وأولئك هم مفلحون وإن الذين كفروا سواء عليهم أنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون ختم الله على قلوبهم وعلى سمعهم وعلى أبصارهم غشاوة ولهم عذاب عظيم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Excellent.
Allahumma
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah. Alhamdulillah. Very well recited, Taha. MashaAllah.
Thank you.
Sabrina, if you're ready, please recite Dua al-Ahad.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم بلغ مولاي صاحب الزمان صلوات الله عليه عن جميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات في مشارق الأرض ومغاربها وبرها وبحرها وسهلها وجبلها حيهم وميتهم عن والديهم
Freeze away.
I think the internet connection dropped for her. Yeah. I think our connection dropped. Yeah. She's gone from the list.
If she comes in the meantime, a Fatiha for all marhumin, especially the Shuhada.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله.
جی بسم اللہ.
Yeah, shukriya. Should we continue on, sir?
جی بسم اللہ.
Right. Thank you so much. Jazakumullah khair. Taha and Sabrina are one of the two outstanding students of level 3, mashallah, and have been improving by the day. And they always wanted to contribute to the majalis. Jazakumullah khair, Taha. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, mashallah. See you for the next majlis, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I will request Khuda Hafiz. Khuda Hafiz. Brother Shuja'at to please recite the Marsiya. صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد اللهم صل.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Is my voice clear this time, Brother Ahmed?
جی بسم اللہ.
Yes, it is loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Alhamdulillah. One more salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. دنیا سے جب گزر گئی زہرا جگر فگار چلائی سر کو پیٹ کے زینب کے میں نثار بن آپ کے ملے گا ہمیں کس طرح قرار اب کون ہے ہمارا بجز شاہ ذوالفقار رجالم میں غم کی گھٹا دل پہ چھائی ہے ہم لٹ گئے رسول خدا کے دہائی ہے اتنے میں آئے پیٹتے سر کو حسن حسین ماں سے لپٹ کے کہتے تھے دونوں بشور و شین اماں اٹھاؤ سر کو کیا ہے نور عین جان ہم کو نہیں، ایک پل بھی چین، پہلے ہی ہم دکھی ہیں، نہ ہم کو رلائیے، نانا کی طرح ہم کو نہ یوں چھوڑ جائیے، ماں سے لپٹ کے کرتے تھے حسنین جب یہ بین، ناگاہ آئے روتے ہوئے شاہ مشرق، دیکھا کہ غش ہے فاطمہ زہرا کے نور عین، دیکھ کر دلاسا بچوں کو بولے شہ حنین، پیارو نہ رو جان میری نکل جاتی ہے، سن لو صدا بطول کے رونے کی آتی ہے، دنیا سے جب گزر گئیں زہرا جگر فگار، صلوات اللہ محمد وآل محمد.
صلی علی Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Jazakumullah khairan kathir. Requesting Mawlana Shirazi to please help us to be a better abd by refining our obedience to our divine leaders. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأنجبين، بهم نتولى ومن أعدائهم نتبرأ إلى الله. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا، حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. We ask Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala to make this majlis a majlis of nur, of understanding, of ma'rifah, and a share and ajr of this be sent to all of the marhumeen, all of the shuhada, from the firstmost to the lastmost, especially the Mazlum, the oppressed shuhada of last week, and all those who have passed away in the recent past. Among them is our Ustad, Marhum Ayatullah Allama Misbah Yazdi, Ridwanullahi Ta'ala alayh, a very noble personality, and among the immediate students of Marhum Ayatullah Al-Uzma Bahjat. It's all good that we have learned from him. Beautiful akhlaq and practice that we see. One of the incidents that I remember from him is We were going to Isle of Wight in the UK, and we were to reach our destination about 30 minutes or 40 minutes after Maghrib. And just at the time of Maghrib, I was driving the car and he was next to me. He told me to stop the car somewhere to say the prayers on the motorway, and then upon his instructions, we found a parking, and then we stood there, offered the prayers at the time of Fadila. That these great people, if they have arrived at any rank, it's all of these little things that they gave importance to a lot. And among them, it's the on time salat and on time prayers. That was a big lesson, that even on that motorway, on that highway, that car has to stop. Prayers have to be offered first, and then we continue to our journey. Rahmatullah wa ridwanuhu alayh. The topic that we have for tonight, it is the consequences of obedience and disobedience towards the divine leaders, the Imams, alayhimus salam. Obedience to the leadership of the Islamic Ummah, obedience towards the Maraja Taqleed, all that is in line with the obedience and disobedience of the divine leaders. Tomorrow you will recite Dua Nudba, and there you will understand what was the reason for this decline or that head-on collision which resulted in the shahadat of the Imams one after the other. And towards the introduction of this dua, you find that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, he has emphasized so much on who the Imam will be, on the entire system of guidance of the Imamats, and in particular the Imamat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salatu wassalam, says that I am the city of knowledge, Ali, you are the gates, you are the entrance, and whosoever wants to enter that city of knowledge has to enter via its gates and doors, the entrance, and that is Ali. Without Ali, no one can get to any rank. فَلْيَأْتِهَا مِنْ بَابِهَا. Then again he says that you are my successor after me, you Ali, you are my flesh and blood is yours. And then someone who is in peace with you is in peace with me. Someone who wages war against you has waged war against me. Because you are from me, like me, part of me, and you are going to be by the pond tomorrow on the day in the heavens, and you are my successor there, and all my tasks and incomplete tasks and debts, all of them, they will be fulfilled by you. My promises, they will be fulfilled by you. And then he says that وَشِيعَتُكَ عَلَى مَنَابِرَ مِن نُور وُجُوهُهُمْ حَوْلِي فِي الْجَنَّةِ. And you will see that your Shias will be on the pulpits of light of Nur, and then their faces illuminated, their faces glowing and shining around me in the heaven. So the reason of getting into the heaven, it is obedience to Rasulullah, obedience to Amir al-Mu'mineen, as a result of which a person, he will be with the Prophet, with the Imams in the heaven by the pond. And then he says that if it wasn't you, Ali, Mu'mineen, they would never have had known me. Lam yu'raf al-mu'minuna ba'di. It is because of you, Ali, people recognize me, people know me. And then after you, there will be, you'll see deviation will emerge, and there will be guidance, there will be deviation. And this hablullah al-mateen wa siratahu al-mustaqim, this cord of Allah and this path of Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, all of that will be attacked, all of that will be attacked by these mal'ooneen and these oppressors. And then the Prophet, he says that لا يسبق بقرابة في رحم ولا بسابقة في دين. That is, in relationship or in the kinship or the nearness in family, to me there is no one but you, Ali. And then when you look into someone who has entered Deen the first, or who was foremost in Deen, that is again you, Ali. And then with all this emphasis and the ta'keed that the Prophet has towards Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam, immediately after the Prophet, everything turned around. وَيُقَاتِلُ عَلَى التَّأْوِيلِ. People, they started their fights and quarrels upon the revelation, upon the ta'wil, the core of Quran. And then لا تأخذه في الله لومة لائم, and in the way of Allah, He cares not any blame of any blamer. You see that Amirul Mu'mineen is firm, is staunch. All those Arabs, the heroes of the Arabs, they all stood, they fought against Amirul Mu'mineen, they shed the blood. Now, who is this Ali that Rasulullah is talking so loud about him throughout his life? Says he is the one who fought all of these oppressors in all of these battles. He was there in support of Rasulullah in the battles of Khaybar, in the battles of Hunain, in the battles, all of the battles during the time of Rasulullah and even after the Prophet. It was Ali who was always the support, always the helper. And then after the Prophet, then we see that things are different. We've got all these hypocrites, all these munafiqeen who have emerged, hatta qatalan nakisin, until he fought the breakers of the allegiance. People were there who said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, we accept, we acknowledge, we swear this allegiance with you that after you it is Ali. And it was in the event of Ghadir, the largest congregation that we have in the Islamic history, that many people, all of them heard the Prophet, all of them saw the Prophet raise the hand of Amir al-Mu'mineen, and then they all came and they swore the allegiance upon the hands of Amir al-Mu'mineen and Rasulullah, and then they broke. That allegiance was broken. Naqisin that you find in du'as and in riwayat in history, Naqisin are those who broke the allegiance. Among them is Talha, is Zubair, and their associates. And then we have Qasitin wal Mariqin, they are the oppressors, those who turned away from the religion, and they are in the battle of Nahrawan. Lamma qada nahbah, and when he passed away, qatalahu ashqal akhirin. Amir al-Mu'mineen was killed by the wretched person of the end of time. The first one, the most wretched, or the ashqal awwaleen, the term used, is the one who killed the camel of Prophet Saleh. And the ashqal akhirin, the most wretched from among the end of time, is the killer of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali alayhi salam. Now here in this dua, clearly mentions what was the reason that Amir al-Mu'mineen was killed, what were the reasons that emerged after Amir al-Mu'mineen, that Imam Mujtaba was killed in that brutal way, that in the headquarters of Islam, the coffin of Imam Mujtaba be attacked, the body that was brought to be laid to rest by the Prophet is turned away, the funeral is aborted and then taken to Baqi. And then worst of all, what happened in Karbala. That is just 50 years down the road, immediately after the Prophet, a head-on collision. Those who supported, those who were with the Prophet, those who swore that allegiance with the Prophet, everything turned around. Why was that? Says Lam yumtasal amru Rasulullah. That is, they did not obey the command of the Prophet. What was the command of the Prophet? After me it is Ali. Be obedient to Ali, be obedient to the Imam, you will be safe. You will be safe in this world and in the hereafter. And then you find that they started breaking the ties and the kinship of the Prophet. And then slowly how everyone was turned away from the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam, how in Salawat Ali Muhammad was removed, and there were all these think tanks and that media that was working on this notion that the Prophet was good, but his descendants were not, his al were not, his progeny was not. So that was the agenda of the media, which again started with has been started with the Wahhabis. Alhamdulillah, they have also come to an end, and the expiration date also is almost expired now. So they worked on that, and that is Lam yumtasal amru Rasulullah, as a result of disobedience to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. فَقُتِلَ مَنْ قُتِلْ وَسُبِيَ مَنْ سُبِي. That is, some of them they were killed, some of them they were taken captive, some of them they were exiled. وَجَرَى الْقَضَاءُ لَهُمْ بِمَا يُرْجَى لَهُ حُسْنُ الْمَثُوبَةِ. And the decree was passed for them in this hope that the best of reward is in it. Now, when Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He had initially, or He has initially, that is the word of God, that this earth that He has created, it is for the salihin, for the noble, for the righteous, for the good. And that is so that the justice of Allah prevails on this planet earth, and the equity of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala that is installed on this planet earth. يُورِثُهَا مَن يَشَاءُ مِنْ عِبَادِهِ. That is, one who wishes, one who Allah wishes, will inherit from His servants, inherit this land. And who is that who will inherit? That is Imam al-Asr, alayhi salatu wassalam, who is the best of Salihin, Aba Salih. And then وَالْعَاقِبَةُ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, and the end also will be for the God-wary, the muttaqeen. So this was a little bit about what happened in the initial days of Islam and what resulted in the killing of Imams, and that was disobedience to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in this notion that the Imamat was tarnished, Imamat was trespassed, Imamat was bypassed, and Imamat was put aside. If we want to put everything back, we have to turn back, that is to the Imamat, and that same obedience of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam has to be observed. And among them is that this love that we have towards the Ahlul Bayt, towards the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, it is a reciprocal love. Fazkuruni azkurkum. Allah says, you remember me, azkurkum, I will remember you. امروز امیر در میخانه تویی تو، فریاد رس ناله مستان تویی تو. مرغ دل ما را به کس رام نگردد، آرام تویی، دام تویی، دانه تویی تو. In this day that we are in, that tranquility is you, the Imam. Trap, it is you, the Imam. Guide, it is you, the Imam. The ultimate existence, or that what guides us and brings us to Allah, it is the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. And with reference to the Imam alayhi salam, in one of these quotes that we have says, قُلُوبُنَا أَوْعِيَةٌ لِمَشِيَةِ اللَّهِ. That is our hearts. That applies to all of the Imams. Now we are talking about Imam al-Asr alayhi salam. Our hearts, they are the vessels of the intention of Allah. Says, فَإِذَا شَاءَ شِئْنَا. Whatever Allah intends, we intend. وَمَا تَشَاءُونَ إِلَّا أَن يَشَاءَ اللَّهُ. Whatever Allah intends, we intend. So that qudrat of Allah, that might of Allah, the irada of Allah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, the ilm, the knowledge of Allah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, is with the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So when it is said that they can perform all of those miraculous tasks, it is because that vessel, the being, the existence, the heart of the Imam alayhi salam, it's the core and the center point of the existence of Allah Jalla wa ala. Now, said that the reason for all that decline was lam yumtasal amru Rasulullah. They were disobedient to the command of Rasulullah, as a result of which that head-on collision was seen. And if we want to have not a fate similar to what had happened to them, we have to be back on track, be with the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam in all walks of life. That is, be with the Imam in the aqidah, the belief that we have, be with the Imam in the performance and the actions. That is, whatever his actions are should be my actions. Whatever his amal is should be my amal. Whatever his attitude, his akhlaq, his manners are, his seerah is, should be my seerah, my akhlaq, and my attitude. With reference to the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, in Quran, the Almighty says that وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ, that whosoever hurts the Prophet, for him is a painful punishment. Yu'zuna means that it's from adiyat, that whosoever harms him, whoever hurts him. So in this hurting of the Prophet, all kinds of disobedience, they are embedded there. Whosoever disobeys the Prophet, lahum adabun alim. Whosoever is harms the Prophet in his actions, in his amal, in his words, lahum adabun alim. For him there is a painful punishment. Adabun alim, painful punishment. The Imam who we have is such kind and such Ra'uf and such Rahim, says that, now this is Sayyid ibn Ta'us, this great alim who has who recognizes the beautiful voice of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. It is the night of the Imam, and we ask Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala that the rida, the contentment of the Imam be sought and he be pleased and happy with every one of us. He says that I went to the Sardab Muqaddas, that is the sacred basement in Masjid Sahla, where Imam was seen for the last time. Says that I went there and I had a tawassul, my prayers I offered, and I heard the Imam. I recognized the voice of the Imam. Imam was saying, Inna Shi'atana minna, that is, God, our Shias are from us. خلقوا من فاضل طينتنا وعجنوا من ماء عذب ولايتنا. These Shias were created with the leftover clay with which we the Imams were created, and this clay, this dirt, this dust, it was mixed with the waters of our wilaya. God faghfir lahum, God forgive them. Min az-zunub ma fa'aluhu, all these sins that they have committed, and then hoping from us they have committed wrong. They had hope in us, and at the same time they have done wrong. God forgive them. فَوَلِّنَا حِسَابَهُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ وَلَا تَفْضَحْنَا بِأَعْمَالِهِمْ. Says God, forgive them and do not defame us or do not make us ashamed by their actions. So this is an Imam who we have, that is, he cares for us, he prays for us, he wants us. So whatever we do all day, all of that, it is presented before the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. Now if we have, for example, this mindset that we have a meeting with the school teachers or the school principal once in a month, so we keep everything ready and then we go there, we meet, and we present, we ask, we inquire, the report is got. Now, if we have this meeting every week, so more often we'll have everything ready. And if it is daily, it's going to be even more. Now, if we have an online all the time, a meeting with the teacher, with the master, with the mentor, then we are ready all the time. With this mindset that our actions, they are presented before the Imam, not once in a week, not twice a week, not once a day, not twice a day, but it's a live online connection and everything is before him, the Imam, all the time. Now we have to see at the end of the day, and all of this that is being said is a lesson to myself, that at the end of the day, when I end my day, and my actions, they are before the Imam alayhi salam. Is he happy at my performance, at my amal, or is he disturbed? If he is happy, then I should be happy as well and say, Alhamdulillah, another day passed in which I got a tick, and that is the satisfaction of the Imam alayhi salam. The a'mal, all of them, they have a consequences, they have an effect. May that be good or the bad amal, all of them, they have an effect in our lives. There's a book, Al-Abqariyatul Hisan, written by Marhum Ayatullah Shaykh Ali Akbar Nahawandi. He reports this incident. Dallaki is a person who is blessed with this meeting with the Imam of age. Now, these meetings that we have that are there with the Imam, they are known as tasharruf, visitations would be the best applicable of that in English. Tasharruf, that is visiting or meeting the Imam alayhi salam. Dallaki, he works in the hammams or the showers. In the olden days, they did not have showers in home, so it was one of these showers that they had in public, and people, they used to go there, have a shower and come out. And then there were some people who used to rub and scrub your back and then clean you, help you clean the skin. So they were known as dallak. Now this person, he used to work there, and he has a father who is extremely ill, looks after the father, stands when he's going to the washroom, stands by the toilet and then gives him the water. And when the father is done, he brings the father out. Says that I had a wish and I wanted to meet the Imam of age. And I said, okay, for 40 days, I'll go to Masjid Sahla, perform my amal, and then get these hajat granted and sanctioned by the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Says it was the 40th day, and every Wednesday I used to walk to Masjid Sahla. On the 40th day, when I was going towards the masjid, it was past midnight, and one of these Arabs, he comes by me, and I was worried because there were so many thieves and looters all the time in the streets. He says that I got a little bit scared that who was this person who's following me. He spoke to me in Arabic, and then he says that, do you have anything to eat? He says, I don't have. He says to me, check your pocket. And then when I put my hand in my pocket, I found that there are some raisins. That raisins I had from for my children in my previous trip. I bought them and I had put them in my pocket. I have forgotten to give it to them. And then he says to me, that is the person who was following me, who was by me, and he said to me, Usika bil aud. Now on this day, on Wednesdays, he used to leave his father on his own, and he used to go to perform the amal at Masjid Sahla. And this Arab, with all kindness and adab, he said to me, I advise you about your father. Bil aud in the slang Arabic, it means that take care of your old father. And he says that when I turned, I did not see him again. Then I found out that that was the Imam of age who was advising me not even to leave that Wednesday to come to meet me, but to look at and care for your father. And from that Wednesday onwards, he stopped going to Masjid Sahla and abiding by the command of the Imam alayhi salam. It was the priority that was given, that is the father, and taking care of his father even on that day. So actions, all of them, they are presented before the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. And we also have to be extra cautious of what we do and how we present, and as to whether or not our actions, our amal, do they make him happy, or is it he is sad upon our performance. Now the secret behind this aqidah and the belief in him, it is one of those beautiful aqaid that we have in the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, very educational, that if we have that mindset that there is someone constantly watching us, we will be definitely more cautious and careful of what we do. And also, when we see Imam also, it isn't as such that he is the actions of the kuffar, the munafiqeen, or the lot who have nothing to do with him, who do not know him, who do not recognize him, whatever bad and evil they do, it doesn't hurt him that much. That what really hurts and bothers and bugs and hurts the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam are our actions and performance. Says manas biganegan digar nanalam ya hargiz nanalam ke ba man harche kard on ashna kard. That I have no complaint towards those strangers. No complaint. Whatever is done to me, all that hurting and that harming that is done to me, or that bows my head in shame, it is those who know us, those who recognize us, that is the Shias. So it is the actions of the Shias which lowers his head, which makes him shy and ashamed, and which is exactly that same ayah that was recited earlier. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْذُونَ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ لَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ. For those who torment the apostle of Allah, there is a painful punishment for them. So one who likes someone would never want to upset him. If we adore and if we love the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, then we should be cautious to not hurt him in any way. He is such great and generous that if at times we do commit wrong, he, the Imam alayhi salam, he asks Allah for our forgiveness, that we are forgiven. But if someone's practice was wrong, he loses that wilayat of Imam al-Asr alayhi salatu wassalam, and for that situation we have to seek refuge in Allah from such a status. It happens that wilayat is seized away as a result of excessive sinning, as a result of disobedience to the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. So when we look into the riwayat, in one of these quotes you've heard a lot that Imam Rida alayhi salam, a group of Shias, when they come to meet him, and when the khadim, the caretaker, he opens the door and says, "Who are you?" They say, "We are the Shias." The message is given to the Imam alayhi salam. Imam says, ask them to come later. Next day they come, for the next day they come. For 60 consecutive days, they were coming and they were also adamant. They wanted to see the Imam and they stood there, waited for 60 days. And on the 60th day, they come and say to the Khadim, the caretaker, that we have to return. And if we go and they ask us, did you see your Imam? And if we say, no, we went there for 60 days and he denied entry, he did not see us. So what would we say? Their Imam sees them and says, the claim you had was very big. You said you are Shias. When your actions, there is so much of wrong in it. That claim is a big Shia. It's being a Shia, that's a wrong claim. A Shia, he is a follower of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in all walks of life. That is, whatever the Imam has said, whatever the Prophet has said, whatever has been mentioned in Quran is the practice of the Shias, of the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Now, when we see the associates and the friends of the Imam alayhi salam in Quran, there is an ayah says, وَكَأَيٍّ مِّن نَبِيٍّ قَاتَلَ مَعَهُ رَبِّيُّونَ كَثِيرٌ فما وهنوا لما أصابهم في سبيل الله وما ضعفوا وما استكانوا والله يحب الصابرين. That is, Ribbiyun, there are those, many of the prophets, and there has been those many people who fought in the way of God. They had no fault in their actions, nor did they weaken or slow down in their support and their khidmat, their services towards the Imam, towards the Prophet. And Allah says, Wallahu yuhibbus sabirin, and those who are patient, Allah loves them. Now these people who are staunch and who stand with the Imam alayhi salam in his support, these people, ما كان قولهم إلا أن قالوا ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا. What did they say? What were the statements? Quran says they always said that God forgive us. God forgive the wrong that we have done, the sins that we have done, the extravagance that we have in our actions, in our affairs. Then God thabbit aqdamana, make us, keep us firm and steadfast on your path, wansurna al qawm al kafirin, and help us against the faithless lot. These are the people who were with the Imam. That is what they desired, what they wanted. That is all the wrong that is done be put away. And then they have a dua also that God help us remove it. They want to be firm, they are firm, and they ask Allah that to help them to be firm on that path. And they ask Allah to be with the Imam, with the Mu'mineen, and against the faithless lot. Ribbiyun that we have in this ayah, it has been mentioned twice in the Holy Quran, and they are those sincere muwahideen, the monotheists who serve and who fought in the service of Imams and the Prophets. And the applicables of these Ribbiyun today are the Shuhada, you can say, who got martyred last year. They are among the first and the staunchest and the foremost who were there in support of the noble cause of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Now these people who are staunch and who are strong, they are very powerful. That power and that qudrat, it is given to them as a result of that faith and that iman they have in Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. As a result of that iman, Allah also makes them beloved in the people. Out of nowhere, you would find that this person who was anonymous, who you never knew, never met, never saw, he becomes aziz, he becomes mahbub, he becomes beloved in your hearts and in the society. That is the task what Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala does. That is, you be obedient to him, you have that faith and aqidah and iman in him, and do as he has asked you to do. He will make you mahbub. That is the consequences of being with the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Now these people who are sincere and who are with the Imam alayhi salam, or the mujahideen, you can call them, the warriors in love of Rasulullah, sincere, and those who have submitted to the Imam alayhi salam. Quran says regarding them, فَمَا وَهَنُوا لِمَا أَصَابَهُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَمَا ضَعُفُوا وَمَا اسْتَكَانُوا. That is, they did not falter, they did not weaken, and nor did they abase themselves. And we have numerous people that can be mentioned over here. The second quality of these people who are with the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, they are strong, they are courageous. Wallahu yuhibbu sabirin. They are patient, and Allah loves those who are patient. Another quality that we have in these people, or the associates, or the of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, just like the Imam who forgives others, and just like Allah tabarak wa ta'ala, who is Ghaffar, who forgives a lot, who is Rahman, who is merciful, who is Rahim. Imam, who is a reflection of the Almighty, is the same. He is also forgiving, he is also caring, he is also merciful, he is compassionate. Likewise, those who are in line with the same Imam, or who follow the Imam, they are also like that, caring, loving, daring, and then merciful, compassionate. And Quran says for them, وَمَا كَانَ قَوْلَهُمْ إِلَّا أَنْ قَالُوا رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا. What do they say? That God forgive us. إِسْرَافَنَا فِي أَمْرِنَا. And all the extravagance that we have had in our actions, in our affairs, God forgive them all. وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا. Keep us firm, help us. وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا وَانْصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. Sometimes people, they say that, okay, we'll just keep aside, let others, those who want to serve, let them serve. Now, even during the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, there were people who did not help him. They stood away. The mission of Allah, it will continue. If we were fortunate and lucky to support this noble cause and mission, we are the ones who will be blessed, and who will benefit from being with the Imam and serving the noble cause. For whatever reason, if we put ourselves away, for whatever reason, never think that the mission is going to stop. That mission, it will never stop. It never stopped. Says Allah, what He will do is that فَسَوْفَ يَأْتِ اللَّهُ بِقَوْمٍ يُحِبُّهُمْ وَيُحِبُّونَهُ. Allah, He will bring about people who love Him and who will be loved. أَذِلَّةٍ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ, humble towards the faithful. أَعِزَّةٍ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, and stern towards those who are faithless. So never think that if I move away, if I switch, or if I drift from this path of haqq, it will stop. That will never stop. That will continue. It will continue faster than ever. The loser is going to be me. So, people who are among the ashab and the associates of the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, they are humble towards the mu'mineen, very humble, confronting. But when it comes to the kuffar, the faithless lot, they are strong. We have this term called tawadhu. Tawadhu means to be humble. That is before mu'mineen, you have to be humble. Man tawada'a lillah rafa'ahu Allah. That is when you are humble towards mu'mineen. Like for example, Shaheed Sulaimani, how humble he was before children, before the shuhada, before everyone. How humble he was, how down to earth he was. As a result of that humbleness that we see in him and all the others, whoever was humble and is humble, rafa'ahu Allah. Allah raises them. Allah excels them. وَمَنْ تَرَفَّعَ وَضَعَهُ اللَّهُ. And whosoever raises his hand as a result of pride, وَضَعَهُ اللَّهُ. Allah ruins him. Now we can see all of these tawagit, all of these arrogant powers who are proud, who raise their heads and who oppress others, what a fate they have, how wretched and how zaleel they are in this world. Among the other qualities that we have for those who are obedient to the Imam alayhi salam and those who are with the Imam and want to be with the Imam, yujahiduna fi sabilillah wa la yakhafuna lawmata la'im. That is, they fight in the way of God. That is, they struggle in the noble cause of Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, not fearing the blame of the blamer. When you stand, when you rise, there will be people who will blame you. They don't care if they are being blamed or not. Now, when we see in Karbala, all of these beautiful ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, there might have been people who tried to put them off, as they did. But then they did not listen to what they are being told. What they wanted and what they desired is Ya laytana kunna ma'akum fannafuza fawzan azima. That is, we want to be with the Imam. And now we also, when we look into the beautiful actions and the performance of the ashab of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, we also have that same desire, that same wish, that we wish we were with you. فَنَّفُوزَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. That is, we also would have arrived at that rank. Now, many times people, they come and ask that why did this person not participate with Imam Hussein alayhi salam, or for example, Muhammad Hanafiya, his other brother, half brother, why did he not participate? Now that manifest of the Ashab of Karbala was written by Allah. So no one can be added to that manifest, no one can be removed from the manifest. That is the divine manifest written by Allah Tabarak wa Ta'ala for those special ones. So being among the Ashab of Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, these are some of the requirements that we have to have for us to help the Imam alayhi salam. And then the dua nudba, it said, Lam yumtasal amru Rasulullah. The reason why people, the Imams were killed because of disobedience. They were disobedient to the Prophet's command, as a result of which Amirul Mu'mineen was killed. as a result of which Imam Mujtaba was killed, as a result of which Imam Hussein, and until Imam Askari alayhi salatu wasalam, all of them, they were killed. Now, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, He will not change any nations. No, we have to bring the change. That change has to be brought, first of all, within ourselves. When we change ourselves, when we make ourselves better people that is in obedience to Rasulullah, in obedience to the commands of the Imams alayhimus salam, only then can a change emerge in the society. As people, and every individual, he makes up that society. So if individuals, they become better people, society becomes a better society. ذلك بأن الله لم يكن مغيرا نعمة أنعمها على القوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. So that change has to be brought within ourselves, in our souls. And one of the things that results in this change to expedite, or one of those reasons that results in this, in the decline of the society, is putting aside the command of God, and that is, for example, in Surah Maryam, that says, فَخَلَفَ مِن بَعْدِهِمْ خَلْفٌ أَضَاعُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَاتَّبَعُوا الشَّهَوَاتِ فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. That is, a nation, they emerged. What they did, they neglected prayers, and they neglected prayers and followed their base appetites, shahwat, their lusts, their desires. فَسَوْفَ يَلْقَوْنَ غَيًّا. So soon they will encounter the evil or the viciousness of their actions. So salat was put away, and they fell into all this inhiraf and all that ghay and all that viciousness and evil. So when shaitan wants to attack, he comes and attacks via the prayer, makes that prayer very weak, very loose, and then as a result of which, one after the other, the prayers, they get missing, they get lost. And when prayer is out from the society, from the community, then it's an easier trap for everyone to fall into the traps of deviation. So we want to be with the Imam, to help the Imam, to fight the noble cause of the Imam alayhi salam. One of the basic requirements to which we have to give a lot of importance is this salat, it's this prayer, so that we also don't fall into the deviation and the inhirab. That's one of the requirements that we have to have. Now, when we look into the nations today, there are so many nations. What is the reason behind the success of this one nation? And what is the reason why it has become the headquarters of Islam, the headquarters of the Shayyo? And so much of izzat and honor and dignity and might is given to that nation. It is a result of obedience to a waliyullah, obedience to the leadership, which is in line with the obedience to the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. We see that what honor and what izzat Allah has given to them, that is only as a result of that obedience to Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. Ati'ullah wa ati'ur rasul wa ulil amri minkum. So being among the ashab and want to be among the associates of the Imam, some of these requirements that were mentioned have to be there. Now, in this day and age that we are living in, and especially with this social media, with all this rubbish which is being pumped to weaken and which attacks the aqaid and the belief system that we have to be extra cautious. Not every message you need to read, not every message you need to forward, not every clip you need to watch. Quran says, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ الَّذِينَ يَخُوضُونَ فِي آيَاتِنَا فَأَعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ. That when you see that those who gossip about our signs, فَأَعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ, avoid them. حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ, until you engage in some other discourse. وَإِمَّا يُنْسِيَنَّكَ الشَّيْطَانُ فَلَا تَقْعُدُ بَعْدَ الذِّكْرَى مَعَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. But if shaitan makes you forget, then after remembering, do not sit with those people. So many a time this happens, that you're doing something, a message comes in, which is, and then you want to watch it. You don't, but then you forget, and then you want to watch it again. Again, Allah says, reboot yourself and then put it away. And never be part of it. And Allah, He will gather the kuffar and the munafiqeen fi jahannama jami'a. When you come across such a situation that you have to be with the negativity or with the evil or with the faithless lot or in a group which is against the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا. Quran says don't be with them, don't sit with them, don't be part of them. And if you be with them, you will be one of them. That is one of them, meaning that you also will be punished just like they will be punished. So there are clear parameters that have been mentioned by Allah wa ta'ala in support of the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam and being with them. We do have riwayat. One of them says that yusbihu rajul mu'minan wa yumsi kafira. Many a times you would see in the end of time that people in the morning they are mu'min and in the evening they are kafir. That is such a quick shift there would be in their actions, in their amal, that they would lose their faith. And we have to be extra cautious, especially in these days, that we don't move away, we don't drift away, fell into these traps of inhiraf and deviation, especially in this time. And then when we are all waiting for the Imam, and inshallah, we ask Allah Ta'ala to hasten in His Mubarak return and count us all among the best of His servants, and that we are enlisted among the best of those who are with the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, and our children to be enlisted among the best of Muslims. It says, Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr, that people swear by that asr, innal insana lafi khusr, that mankind is at loss. Illa alladhina amanu, but those who are faithful. وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and have done good actions. وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ, and who invite one another, advise one another towards haqq, and then advise one another towards patience and sabr. Very beautifully in this small surah, Allah has mentioned all the guidelines that we need to have to be with the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, and that what resulted in the killing and the massacre or of all of the Imams was Lam Yumtasal Amru Rasulullah, as it was mentioned in Dua Nudba. Lam Yumtasal Amru Rasulullah. They were disobedient to the command of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. Now this Amirul Mu'mineen, with all that praise and virtues, fada'il, that Rasulullah has mentioned, that Quran has talked about, the existence has witnessed his beauty, that even Rasulullah, when he has a wish, when he has a haja, he seeks Allah via Amirul Mu'mineen. Aisha, she says that once I was looking for the Prophet and I couldn't find him. I checked in all the chambers, he wasn't there. And then I see that from the rooftop, I can hear him. I went up and I saw him that he is in a state between ruku and sajda, with his knees uncovered and his hands raised towards the skies. He says that Ilahi bihaqqi Ali, bihaqqi Ali, bihaqqi Ali. I said to the Prophet, she says, that why are you seeking Allah via Ali? The Prophet replies that I had a wish, I had a haja, I wanted that to be granted. I scanned and I searched the skies, couldn't find anyone better than Ali. Scanned and searched the earth, no one better than Ali. So I sought Allah via Ali, bihaqqi Ali, for this hajat of mine to be granted. Now this Amirul Mu'mineen, with all this beauty and all this greatness that Rasulullah has mentioned, on the 19th of the sacred month of Ramadan, he is fasting, looks at the sky, and is a guest at his daughter's house, Kulsum. She says, I never saw him so much disturbed. Every now and then comes and looks at the sky. And then he says, Hiya Layla, this is that night, this is that very night. And then I bring the iftar for him to break his fast, and it had some milk, some salt, and some bread. He looks at the daughter and says that, when did you see your father have such a lavish iftar? When it was just three pieces, three items there, just some bread, some salt, and some milk. She wanted to take away the salt. He says to take away the milk. Says he had some morsels of bread. With that salt, he broke his fast. Was very much disturbed. And early in the morning, when she sees that the situation of the father is such, sends a message to brother Hassan to go and lead the prayers in the masjid. And by the time the message reaches him, Amir al-Mu'mineen has reached the mosque from the other side, from the other route. And then when he is in the state of his prayers and has performed his first sajda, that Mal'oon ibn Muljam, the Ashqal Akhirin, the worst and the most wretched from among the people of the end of time, he comes and he attacks the head of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. And it was that same mark, that same spot on which Amr ibn Abdawad also has hit in the battle of Khandaq. And the first thing Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Fuztu wa Rabbil Kaaba, by the Lord of Kaaba, I have sought this prosperity and this success. Minha khalaqnakum, with this dust I was created. We have been created. Fiha nu'idukum, to this dust and dirt we will return. وَمِنْهَا نُعِيدُكُمْ تَارَةً أُخْرَى, and from that dirt and dust we would be raised. That is the last statement of Amir al-Mu'mineen that was said. And then Jibreel says, تَهَدَّمَتْ وَاللَّهِ أَرْكَانَ الْهُدَى, that the pillars of guidance they shook, that is by the demise and the shahadat of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. With all that emphasis Rasulullah had towards such a great personality, such a great existence, and that is Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali alayhi salam. And as a result of disobedience to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, all of these mishaps and all of these tragedies, one after the other, they came to this noble house of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam, which started by the attack on the house of Ali and Zahra alayhim assalam. Ilahi, ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. إلهي بحق الزهراء وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها والسر المستودع فيها، يا الله 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 يا الله. اللهم أحينا حياة محمد وآل محمد وأمتنا ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا في الدنيا زيارة محمد وآل محمد وفي الآخرة شفاعة محمد وآل محمد. Ya Allah, all those who are ill and ailing, Allah grant them shifa. Every one of us who is present here, and mu'mineen who have du'as, who have hajat, whatsoever they be, Ilahi bi'aliyin, 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 grant them. The problems, the mishaps that every one of us is seeing, is having, is suffering, Allah ease them for every one of us. Give us all sabr and patience, ajr and reward. And Allah hasten in the return of our Imam, our Master. Grant izzat and honor to Islam and Muslimeen, zillat and defamation to kufr and shirk and munafiqeen. Our children to be enlisted among the best of the servants and Muslims of Imam al-Asr, alayhi salatu wassalam. Matam Hussain.
Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. राखी बेटियों की रिदाएं उतर गई, हैदा की बेटियों की रिदाएं उतर गई, ज़हरा की बेटियों की रिदाएं उतर गई, ज़हरा की बेटियों کی ردائیں اتر گئیں، سجاد کو ضعیف صدائیں یہ کر گئیں، سجاد کو ضعیف صدائیں یہ کر گئیں، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئیں، زہرا کی بیٹیاں ردائیں اتر گئیں، لاشوں کو رسیوں میں جکڑ کر لیے پھرو، لاشوں کو رسیوں میں جکڑ کر لیے پھرو، سیدانی تو گھر سے نکلتے ہی مر گئی، سیدانیاں تو گھر سے نکلتے ہی مر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی اتر گئی، جاتی تھی جو کبھی کبھی زہرا کی قبر پر، جاتی تھی جو کبھی کبھی زہرا کی قبر پر، جانے خدا ہجوم سے گزر گئی، ہے جانے خدا جوم سے کیسے گزر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی اتر گئی، ظلم و ستم کی تیز ہوائیں تھی جب چلی، ظلم و ستم کی تیز ہوائیں تھی جب چلی، تب گلشن بطول کی کلیاں بکھر گئی، تب گلشن بطول کی کلیاں بکھر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئیں، گودوں میں راہ شام میں گر گر کے مر گئے، گودوں میں راہ شام میں گر گر کے مر گئے، بچوں کی لاش دیکھ کے مائیں بھی مر گئی، بچوں کی لاش دیکھ کے مائیں بھی مر گئی، رملہ یہ پوچھتی تھی سکینہ سے قید میں، رملہ یہ پوچھتی تھی سکینہ سے قید میں، زخمی ہے کان بالیاں بی بی ادھر گئی، زخمی ہے کان بالیاں بی بی ادھر گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں گئی، زہرا کی بیٹیوں کی ردائیں اتر گئی، یا حسین حسین۔
أحسنتم. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا خير خلق الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام على الصديقة الطاهرة، السلام على الحسن والحسين وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة ورحمة الله وبركاته. صلى الله على محمد وعلى
جزاكم الله.